Well, here we are. Battlefield 6. A sentence I wasn't sure I'd be excited to say again after the last few disasters. And yes, I am excited. Cautiously, because this is EA we're talking about.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
But excited nonetheless. For years, Battlefield has been drifting away from what made it great, trading immersion for gimmicks, chasing Hollywood trends, and serving us cosmetics that look like they belong in a Saturday morning cartoon instead of a war zone. But this time, they're claiming it's different. A return to the core, a return to war. And if they actually pull it off, we might just be looking at a moment that changes the gaming industry as a whole. Let's start with the scale of what EA is doing here. They've combined multiple studios, DICE, Ripple Effect, Criterion, into one giant super team focused solely on Battlefield 6. This is their go for broke moment. If it works, it puts Battlefield back on top. If it fails, well, it could be the final nail in the coffin for the franchise. And make no mistake, they need this to work. Battlefield 2042 wasn't just a critical flop, it was a financial one. The player count nosedived, the community lost trust, and EA lost millions. Probably the only thing they really care about. So, they're not just making another game here, they're trying to rebuild an entire reputation. Now, the timing here matters. Look around. Call of Duty has been releasing titles back to back to the point where the formula feels stale. Warzone's numbers are down, and here's the big one. There is no truly dominant modern military shooter on the market right now. We've got sci-fi shooters, hero shooters, and extraction shooters, but nothing that fills the old school, large-scale, boots-on-the-ground modern combat niche. This gap is Battlefield's golden opportunity. It's been 4 years since the last entry. 4 years without a flagship Battlefield experience. That absence has built both skepticism and curiosity. There are players out there that have not experienced the joys of Battlefield.
Do it, do it, do it, do
blow,
it!
Blow, 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 blow.
Yeah! 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 Yeah!
Great attacking play with the passing here. Goes for goal! And they've scored. That's the first goal of the game.
And judging by the fact the open beta, which for once isn't locked behind a pre-order, pulled over 500,000 concurrent players on Steam alone, people are paying attention. So what's different this time? First, they're scrapping the immersion-breaking nonsense. No celebrity skins, no neon armor packs, no katana-wielding amputees in historically themed games. Instead, they're bringing back the original class system, tightening up the squad play, and focusing on the team-based, objective-driven gameplay that made Battlefield special in the first place. And yes, they're setting it in a modern setting again. That's huge. Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3 thrived because they balanced realism with fun. They weren't trying to be documentaries, but they also didn't feel like theme parks. Battlefield 6 seems to be chasing that same balance. It's not like players haven't been telling EA what they wanted. They've been shouting it for years. Go back to modern combat. Stop chasing trends. Stop turning my soldier into a Fortnite character, and for the love of all that is holy, don't launch your game broken. And for the longest time, EA seemed to cover their ears and run in the opposite direction. Now, maybe the revenue charts finally spoke louder than the investors did, because suddenly we're listening to the players. And honestly, if that's true, it's one of the most important shifts in the industry right now. Because if Battlefield 6 succeeds by listening to its community, other publishers might finally realize that investors aren't the ones playing the game. We are. One thing I'm cautiously optimistic about is Battlefield Labs. This is essentially EA inviting players, including community figures and content creators, to test and give feedback during development. That's not just smart, it's essential. Games that ignore their communities tend to die fast. Games that work with their communities tend to build a long-lasting loyalty. If other studios followed this model, we might actually see fewer rushed releases and more polished player-driven content. It's one of those ideas that sounds obvious, yet rarely gets implemented well. Here's where it gets bigger than just Battlefield. If BF6 launches strong, functional, and community-driven, it could force a shift in how major publishers approach multiplayer shooters. Right now, the AAA model is built around constant monetization. Battle passes, overpriced skins, microtransactions. But if EA sees more profit in retaining a happy player base than in squeezing every last dime out of them, other companies will notice. And with the trust in gaming journalists at an all-time low, players are increasingly relying on their own experiences and on community voices to decide if the game's worth their time. If BF6 earns that trust, it doesn't just help EA, it could set a new industry standard. That said, I wasn't born yesterday. This isn't a guaranteed victory. The beta looks promising, but there's still bugs, there's still balancing work to do, and yes, there's talk of a Battle Royale mode coming. Now, I'm not against the idea if it's done right, but let's be honest. Battlefield doesn't have the best track record in that department. One wrong move, and it becomes a distraction instead of an addition. And let's not forget Battlefield's history of rocky launches. This game must be functional on day one. Another broken release could be the death blow, no matter how good the core gameplay is. Despite all that, I can't deny it. I'm excited about Battlefield again. That's not something I've been able to say in a very long time. The combination of modern setting, a focus on core gameplay, a massive dev team working as one, and a genuine community involvement gives me hope. If BF6 pulls this off, it could redefine not just Battlefield, not just EA, but the expectations players have for big budgeted multiplayer games, and maybe, just maybe, it'll remind publishers that good gameplay sells better than any flashy marketing campaign or overpriced skin bundle ever could. So here's my take. This isn't just another shooter. This is a test for EA, for Battlefield, for the industry, and I genuinely hope they pass, because I know I'm not alone when I say this. I'm ready for Battlefield to be amazing again. And with that, I've been Pooks. Be sure to comment down below, like, and subscribe, and tell me what you think about Battlefield 6, and where you think this might change the industry. And if you're looking for more buffoonery from yours truly, be sure to check out my Twitch. I stream most daily, and I'd love to chat with you and get to know you. Anyway, I'll see you on the battlefield, assuming the servers actually work this time. Peace.